Other interesting political news, you had DeSantis using a Daily Wire comment on Trump can't quite explain if a man could become a woman. Now, this is from the DeSantis War Room specifically, and it is interesting that the most viral things from the DeSantis War Room have no DeSantis in them. So this is just a clip from Matt Walsh, who some might know as the leader of the Sweet Baby Gang, or the SBG. I can't explain what it is. I dare not. But many people do, and warn your children, many people do know he is a gang leader of the SBG group. Now, this DeSantis War Room video, they put it out one day ago, got 640,000 views. When normally a video of DeSantis gets 40, 50,000. And every once in a while, I believe he peaked. 2 weeks ago, we covered a video on his response to the handling of how his state handled COVID. That got about 400,000 views, I believe. So again, if this isn't technically personal best, it's up in one of the best. So I'll go ahead. We'll play the first clip with Matt Walsh, and then we'll actually play the real clip with Trump, where he's answering the question. And we'll let you decide, do you think this is being manipulative, or do you think it's inaccurate coverage? But without too much further ado, we'll go to the DeSantis War Room. Although right now it's just on the Twitter. Although I'm sure they have a physical room too.
Man become a woman question. And there shouldn't be any answer other than no. Okay, if you're saying anything other than no, anything, the first words out of your mouth after you hear, can a man become a woman? No. Then you can elaborate on how crazy that idea is. First word should be no. Anything but an immediate no is a wrong answer and also an embarrassment. And if that doesn't, if you don't see why that is, then just imagine any other basic scientific question getting that kind of answer. So what if, just to show you how ridiculous this is, imagine if Megyn Kelly had for some reason asked, do you believe in gravity? Does gravity exist? And then Trump had said, well, listen, in my opinion, there are some who say that human beings can fly, but I think probably not. What? What kind of answer is that? Why, in my opinion? But first of all, people are focusing on the part of it. In my opinion, you don't need to qualify something like this by saying, it's not your opinion, okay? Just like it.
That reminds me of the Office skit where they act like the Southern folks, and then someone says, I do declare. Which, if you're saying something you're already declaring, you don't have to say it. It just, I guess, sounds fancy from a Southern perspective.
It's not, when I say gravity exists, that's not my opinion. So in my opinion, gravity exists. In my opinion, the sun is bigger than the earth. It's not my opinion, that's just a fact. It's not an opinion at all. So that was a weak and convoluted answer where clear and concise is needed, and where there's simply no conceivable reason why you would give anything but a clear and concise answer. Keep in mind what I'm always saying about this issue, that on the left, they can't answer these questions. So for them, that's a stumper. This is the beautiful thing about being a conservative, is that basic common sense questions are not stumpers. We don't have to be worried about them. Someone could throw it at us and say, oh, that's easy. Yeah, 2 + 2 = 4. No problem. It's only on the left where it becomes, oh my gosh, I got to figure out how to navigate around this. That's the advantage we're supposed to have, because we're supposed to stand for basic fundamental truth. We're supposed, when we talk about being conservative, we are conserving basic fundamental truths. Or maybe not conserving the truths themselves, because the truths will persist whatever we say about them. We are pursuing we are conserving our understanding, society's understanding and acceptance of these fundamental truths. So that's an advantage we're supposed to have. But because the left can't answer these kinds of questions, or at least they can't answer in a way that is not humiliating for them, because if they're asked the question, can a man become a woman, they're probably not going to say yes. Some of them will. But if that was a Democrat politician sitting there, probably not going to say yes, because they know how crazy that sounds. So instead, they're going to start equivocating, and they're going to be off in the weeds, and they're going to talk about opinions and how everyone has different perspectives, and so on and so forth. When you, as the Republican frontrunner, give an answer that makes it sound like a complicated question, that is just you, that's you surrendering to the left on that issue. Because that's what the left wants. They want this to be a matter of opinion. They want it to be complicated. They want it to be the kind of question that you're nervous to answer. And it shouldn't be.
Again, so that was, in terms of the text before the actual video that they reposted, the DeSantis War Room said, quote, "That's you surrendering to the left. Matt Walsh blog hammers Trump's weak answer on whether a man can become a woman. Anything but an immediate no is a wrong answer and also an embarrassment." And that got, in terms of statistics, looks like it got 655.9 thousand views in 2 days, which again, for DeSantis War Room, is quite a lot. Now, in terms of the feedback, before we jump to the actual video with Trump and Megyn Kelly, you have some of the top responses, one being Mr. Dr. Patrick M. AI changes everything. Quite a long name. This person says, quote, "Not if you look at what was implemented by the DOD. It barely changed. Oh, no, actually, there's a response. My apologies. So Mr. Low Carb Studies said, quote, "Trump literally banned trans from the military," unquote. That person got 24 likes and 1,620 views. Now, the response to that was Dr. Patrick M. AI changes everything. That person says, quote, "Not if you look at what was implemented by the DOD. It barely changed anything nor slowed the process down. Trump tried to have it both ways, panders to the trans, then gaslights conservatives. That's the rhino way," unquote. And this person also had a meme of Mickey Mouse holding a Bud Light with a rainbow flag on it. And it says Team Trump with a picture of Jenner as a woman. I don't know. I forget the names. It said, "Despite Wednesday motion, Caitlyn urged trans kids of America to stay hopeful." And that person got 40 likes. Another one said, OG MAGA Angie, saying, "He gave an immediate no, you lying corrupt clowns." Person got 32 likes out of 1,156 views. And then another one responded saying, South Dillon said, quote, If not no, at least laughter at the absurdity of the question," unquote. That person got 296 likes and 7,356 views. OMG Angie saying, quote, "He said, no, that's not an immediate no. Why DeSantis supporters insist on being such ridiculous liars is pretty funny, though. It shows what frauds you are like, just like Ron. Good luck with that winning strategy," unquote. Though she said though, THO, which I found lazy, but nevertheless, that person did get 8 likes for that response out of 388 views. Someone else said, Mr. Calvin said, quote, "Trump going centrist wasn't on my 2023 bingo card." Person getting 5 likes and 436 views. So it looks like Mr. Pedro L. Gonzalez saying, quote, "Thank you, Matt Walsh blog." That person got 173 likes out of 5,199 views. Now, in terms of the substance, so that was the response. That was the analyst taking a look at the situation.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make
You gotta be kidding me. Oh, good old ads.
on Amazon is not with physical products. It's Amazon's other company, Audible. Audible paid.
What on earth is going on with the computer here?
Is
this a new unskippable ad? Kill the volume first.
Can a man become a woman?
In my opinion, you have a man, you have a woman. I think part of it is birth. Can the man give birth? No. Although they'll come up with some answer to that also someday. I heard just the other day they have a way that now the man can give birth. No, I would say I'll continue my stance on that.
So that was his response.
Become a woman? Man become a woman? Man become a woman?
In my opinion, you have a man, you have a woman. I think I think part of it is birth. Can the man give birth? No. No, although they'll come up with some answer to that also someday. I heard just the other day they have a way that now the man can give birth. No, I would say I'll continue my stance on that.
Very interesting response. So, oh, come on. Oh, got all technical difficulties left and right. So, he did have a long, pregnant pause with that, and oddly enough, it was a very political answer. I don't think a lot of people were expecting that response from Trump. Most people expect his previous responses, which are much more off the cuff, much more bombastic in terms of right on the money, so to say. This is kind of like a cliche politicians where it's very long, thought out, and you really had to search for an answer in that. And the comments, in terms of that was from a YouTube video, most of them are not so supportive. So one of the top responses was Mr. Poor Entrepreneur 8276 said, quote, "Why don't people just straight up say no?" And that person got 29 likes. Now, interestingly enough, someone else said, quote, by the name of EAC 3748, very inspiring name. This person said, quote, "Perfectly answered by President Trump. The reason they criticize his answer is because it's the truth." And this person got 19 likes. Interestingly enough. Now, someone else said, this person's by the name of Real Question, said, quote, "His answer seemed pretty direct to me. Of course, there will be future efforts to obscure the differences between men and women further. It's a hot button political issue. So acknowledging that only makes sense. But he didn't say it had changed his own view or ever could." This person got 18 likes on the YouTube comment section. Another top response, Mr. Glandiro said, quote, "Love Trump from India," unquote. Got 15 likes. Another one by the name of Trish Sullivan said, quote, "Fumble, I must have missed it. Did you upload the correct video?" unquote. That person got 15 likes. So it is fascinating. It's almost as if, depending on your political affiliation or kind of your current belief system, it just kind of reinforced your belief in him. So it seemed like the people who already liked DeSantis, this proved their point, and the people who liked Trump, it kind of proved their point. Which is another fascinating thing, very similar to the actual mugshot when he actually was arrested. You had Democrats who loved it, and they used it for campaigning, and Republicans who loved that very same picture for their campaigning. So same situation, but two completely different universes, two completely different trains of thoughts, which is fascinating in and of itself. But let me know in the comments, do you feel this is deceptive by the DeSantis campaign? Or do you think Matt Walsh and the DeSantis came, were they on the money with their assessment? This would be the first transgression if you're pessimistic against the DeSantis campaign. They used a deep fake using AI to actually have a picture with Donald Trump hugging Dr. Fauci. And in the picture, which is a compilation of 6 pictures, 3 of which were actually altered using deepfake AI, it actually said "the real Trump." And they didn't have a disclaimer on that, which I don't believe that's very transparent at all. And I think DeSantis, he should have come out saying, "I don't agree with that campaign strategy. This super PAC," or say it wasn't your call and actually address the issue and appropriately. It's a nice way of not punishing them in terms of verbally. You're not punishing them, but you're letting them know it's not ethical, it's not moral. So you're disciplining them verbally would be a perhaps apt action. But he never did that. So there's some people who think that picture was real, even though a computer made it. So that doesn't seem very transparent to myself. Now, DeSantis, in terms of moving on the political chessboard, he's much more approaching almost like a little bit more of a Chris Christie approach, where he's starting to lean in to the voters who are never Trumpers. In the beginning, DeSantis was very much more cordial with Trump, and it seems as time goes by, he's starting to lean in more and more to highlighting the differences, highlighting what he sees as the downfalls or the shortcomings of Trump's campaign and presidency. So I think he could steal away those voters in the primary who are currently voting for Chris Christie, who has been the most vocal opponent of Trump for the nomination. But let me know in the comments, do you think this was, 1, ethical, and B, effective from the political campaign strategy? it'll be interesting to see, but there's so many polls, I'm sure we shall see soon. Thank you everyone again for taking the time to tune in. I know it's ambitious trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of September, so if you could click that button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, don't forget to take the time to tell your families, tell your coworkers, tell your enemies, heck, tell anyone and everyone, just stay safe and fight the good fight.